Hello everyone and welcome back to our Moneyball series with Paris FC. It's going to be the January transfer special and it's coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. So, we had a message from the board. They said, right, Jack, tell you what, we're going to give you some extra money to spend. I thought, brilliant, thank you, board. I've been waiting for you to get on board with my methods for a long time. How much are you going to give me to spend? And the answer was, like, 2.55 million. So, there hasn't been too many results off camera, to be fair, but I have brought you back now because what I normally do, the first thing I do in January is just see and look through the list of whose contract is expiring at the end of the season and looking at their stats first. But obviously, if I was to wait until the episode, which I think I said after the Le Havre game, right, that's another week or so. Well, it would have been a week from the last game anyway, from Brest to the Le Havre game. And in that time, they could have signed for other clubs, right? So let's go through together now and let's look at who's available on a potential free for the end of the season. And we'll go through their stats first. And then we'll go through the episode. I think in terms of actual matches, we'll probably still only do the Monaco and Marseille games. I may bring you back for the Betis game as well, and that is because we are in danger of not qualifying. So there you are. Okay, so the first player that's come up on the list, looking at wingers first, because I think we need wingers more than strikers, to be fair, right this second, is Noni Madueke. Now, he looks really, really good. Dribbles per 90 of 4.0, so that is extremely high. That's the first thing I was looking at, is dribbles per 90. The second check is, okay, what division is he playing? A good division. Does he create some sort of chances by the open play key passes or progressive passes? Yes, he does. In fact, having that level of progressive passes is quite high for that position. Normally, the progressive passes that you see that are high are pivot players or deep essential players. So, across the board, he looks really good. Now, how much wages does he want is the question. Well, and does he want to come? He does want to come. Right, this could be a really, really good signing. Offer him 29. No percentage of the next sale. We'll give him a relegation release clause of 0. Right, okay, you're not having that. You can have the wages. Okay, that would be unbelievable value for money if he was to come in. Obviously, most of us will be familiar with who he is anyway from real life or from FM, etc. Now, I'm not too familiar with how good he is in FM23. I know how good he was in FM22, and I'm pretty sure he could easily have had a change. This game was started on the original database, so this isn't on the update. So I have no idea how good he is, and also I'm pretty sure he's one of those players that's quite young that could develop in a lot of different ways, depending on game time, how he's training, etc. Right? There's lots of things that could factor into him. So I have no idea how good he really is and what version we've got of him, etc. We don't know any of those things, but the fact he's on this list, he's got all those stats. He's even good in the air. Header-1 ratio, 43% is extremely good for a player that's playing that sort of 10 role, potentially wide as well. So really good player. What a signing that could be. Okay, another player here called Joel Makuva plays in the Danish league here. He has got 12 starts, 3.14 dribbles per 90, again, pretty high. Cross completion with 30%, that's pretty good as well. He's got progressive pass 2.5, which is pretty good, but what's impressive is really the cross completion along with the dribbles per 90. Slightly different type of player. He's more of the dribbler and crosser version of Madueke that we've signed. Not saying they're the same player, but like they're according to the stats, they look very similar in what they've done this year, but the only difference is really that, and he's not quite as good in the air. Now, he's gone to Midtjylland, and he's done really well this year, so let's see how much he wants. Do you know what? I probably shouldn't have done this, because, yeah, it's going to do that, isn't it? I mean, I can't even change that again. Right, we might miss out on him now. I probably shouldn't offer anybody else a contract, because I'm not going to be able to offer him the wages that we potentially could. Right, I managed to offer him a contract, so bear in mind now, I can't offer anybody else a contract right this second, because I've got those two out, but those two look pretty good. If there's somebody else really good in a different position, I probably would just get Madueke and then sign somebody else and cancel that one and just shortlist him and hope for the best that he doesn't sign for anybody else. Conceição as well. Not only is he really good in the same category as the previous two players, he scored 7 goals from wide areas in the same league as Madueke, but his progressive passes 3.26 is really good. All right, I'm going to have to shortlist it. I'm going to come back and I'm going to compare him to the lad that we just looked at a second ago, because there's a chance we could get one of them, probably not two. I just started speaking, obviously would have cut this out, but I just started speaking about Dribble So, and I was just explaining how he's not a great Moneyball signing because of his wages. And I looked at a second look at his stats. Header-1 ratio, 60%. Possessions 1 per 90, 10.21. Tackle-1 ratio, 82%. Pass completion, 89%. open play key passes per 91, dribbles per 90, 1.29. So if he's a pivot player, passes completely per 90 will be high, so he can do that. His tackle ratio is high, and he's not terrible in the air. If he wants to be attacking player, he's got open play key passes, he's got progressive passes, and he's got dribbles per 90. Like, no matter what I buy him for in midfield, he does it all. And I've completely changed my opinion after a quick look at it, thinking that the wages are too high. Now, if he wants that sort of wages, it will be too high. But if I could offer him 48 grand a week, that is 100% worth it. And he's probably worth us spending about £5 million. So if I spent £5 million on that player and paid them about 48 grand a week, that's about right, I would say, from my cost-benefit analysis. I'm going to shortlist him, but I doubt we're going to be able to get him, but he looks actually really good. Right, I've just been through all of the January transfers, potential ones that we could get, and you saw everything with me that I was looking at, to be fair. So I'm just going to click through now a week or so, and I'll see what wages I can get available for us, and see if we can get those other players that we looked at. And then once that's confirmed, we'll see if there's anything else we can do in terms of this transfer window immediately. I've got a couple of players out that I might sell. I just wanted to see what I could get for players. Samuel had offers in on him, so I'm going to sell him for £1 million. I would sell him if that came through. That's £1 million profit. We sell him on a free. He's going to go for £1 million. Moldor's got a 2.2 million offer on him. Again, I might sell him because he's just not really going to play that much. I could probably get away without him. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but that's you're up to date with what's going on, and let's get into the rest of the transfer window. One thing I forgot to tell you was, or I forgot to show you, was this comparison. I've not really looked at this yet. I just clicked on it now. We're clicking on them to compare the two players we're looking at, the two wingers, and comparing them directly in terms of stats. Now, in terms of level, I guess that Conceição will play against slightly tougher opponents, plays in a really good team for the level, so he's going to have a lot more of it easier going his own way, right? So we've got to factor that in a little bit when it comes to like goals per 90, for example, as a stat. Let's have a look at this anyway. And they've also played a slightly different amount of games. But goals per 90 does go to Conceição. Assists per 90 does go to Conceição. Key passes per 90 goes massively Conceição. Pass completion ratio, Conceição. Shot on target ratio, Conceição. Tackles and penalty goes the other direction. Everything goes towards Conceição. I've rating we're not going to care about because he plays in a good team. But that looks pretty comprehensive. So I think with that, I'm probably going to cancel this one. But hopefully he still comes to us. We're going to try and sign Conceição instead. Well, that was a mistake, wasn't it? I cancelled the other contract and then he won't speak to us. So a brief update. We got a new contract offered to us by the boards, which is very nice of them. 4-year contract. There's a lot of faith being shown in us there. So we're gonna sign that. Madueke has been confirmed. I'm trying to get Ray. So that Ray is the player that I showed in the summer that had the same exact stats as Mbappe. So we're going to try and get him if we can. He's going to cost us a lot of money. So there's a lot of players that I've got currently offered out to see if I can get the funds, to see what it would look like. It doesn't mean I'll sell all these players. At Badiashile, I don't need to have him if I can get a good offer, because I think that Rikichi is good enough to start for as a centre-back now. And we'd probably still need a good backup maybe, but we could potentially do that. It depends how important we think that Ray is going to be to the team, but that's what's going on so far anyway, and I'll keep you up to date as we go. Right, we're going to review all the transfers and all the January activity that we've done in just a second, but we did get through the Champions League, and we're into the knockout stage, and let's see who we get in the draw quickly. So we're going to go view draw, start the draw. What are we going to get? Betis are going to play Rennes, okay. United are going to play Lyon. Porto are going to play Juventus. Freiburg versus Arsenal. Benfica versus Liverpool. Paris FC are going to play Newcastle. Okay, so we get Newcastle in the knockout round, the first knockout. Interesting, we've got a small squad. If the team is fully fresh and fit, we've got a chance, but that's interesting. Okay, all right, I'll see you in a few days for the Monaco game, and we'll go through all the activity. Okay, we are at the end of the transfer. Let's have a quick look at what we managed to do at the back end of the window. So we managed to bring in Ray. Now, Ray scored the exact same stats almost as Mbappe in the summer. We couldn't quite get to him, unfortunately for us, in the summer. But we have got to him now. Managed to get him into the club. He's going to play as a striker and a wide player, depending on the formation we're playing at the time. In this tactic, I think for this season, probably on the wing. And he can cut inside. And the next season, if Boniface leaves, which he might do, as you'll see in a second, he may well become our striker. We'll have to wait and see on that a little bit. But he comes in. 14 million. I think 50% of the next sale does go to his team, which I didn't want to do, but I ran out of money and time to get him in, so I had to bite the bullets, because for me to get him in, like, with orthodox just money with no kickbacks, I was going to have to sell Osei Samuel and Badiashile, and I just couldn't afford to do that. The squad's already really small, so I had to do it and bite the bullet. Like, we may end up selling him for like £40 million in a couple of years or 3 years, and we may only get like 20 back for it, but that's the price we had to pay to get him in right now, which we need. We need to get him in before he went somewhere else, basically, because he may not be as good as Mbappe, may not be anywhere close to it, but we have to take the chance, I think, because his stats were so good. in that season, it was definitely worth taking the risk, as it were. In terms of players out, so the three first-team players that have left are Samuel, Mulder, and Evidence there. They've all left, combined total of a few £1 million there. Now, the interesting one is Salza goes out on loan to INT. Now, that is not something I wanted to do. Salza is a really good left-back, I think, and he was going to be my starting left-back, but because I've now got 5 non-EU players, I had to get rid of somebody, and I couldn't sell Evander yet because he's only just joined and nobody wanted to buy him. So I thought the best case scenario here, loan Salza out, keep him first team football somewhere so he keeps improving, all that kind of stuff. Then in the summer I can sell Evander and Salza can come back into the team. And I just have to be very careful the next season not to sign any non-EU players. That's probably the only way we're going to be able to do it, to be honest. And that seemed the best thing to do. So we'll see if that was the right decision long term. But for now, that's the right thing to do for this season anyway. And yeah, there you go. So Samuel, we made a profit of £1 million on him. Mulder, we sold for 2.2. We signed him for 2.5. A slight loss on him actually there. Evidence, we signed for 375 grand and sold him for 2.1 million. So that's a good bit of business for us. And Salza goes out on loan. He's currently worth 20 million. He's getting caps for the Brazil under-20s. He looks like a pretty good player. But fortunately, we're going to be without him for the rest of the season anyway, as we get into this. So we're going to play against Monaco. We are in the Champions League, like we showed before against Newcastle. We've got a cup game there. Perfect. Do you know what? Should I show the Newcastle game next episode? I'll have a think about it afterwards. But we're going to play Monaco and Marseille today, definitely. And in the next episode, it could be a cup special. It could be Newcastle, Dijon, Newcastle. Because in that one episode, we could have guaranteed no trophies again for another season. Or we could have a chance in something right. So I'm hopeful on the French Cup. I mean, PSG is still in it, which is a shame. But before we even start the team, actually, Boniface said he wanted to leave at the end of his contract. So that means in the summer, I'm definitely going to have to sell him because he's got 1 year left on his contract at the end of the season. So we'll probably have to sell him, which is a real shame because he's been great. I did offer him out this transfer window just to see what the feelers would be for offers. I got one offer for about £8 million, which I did accept temporarily just to see what I could get, but the board blocked it. They wanted 10. So hopefully we can get a good offer for him. We probably should because he's going to score a lot of goals this year. He's already scored 23 in all competitions. Ray is still out on international duty, which is a shame. Your team is going to be Andrew in goal with Merlin, Badiashile, Gila, and Osei Samuel across the back. Crespo, Da Costa, Johansson as R3. Down Bayer on the wings. Boniface up front. Now, Bayer has been incredible on the right wing. I was about to tell you how many goals he scored, but it's only 6. He's actually got 11 assists, which I didn't really notice at the time. So, really impressive stuff from him. Not as good from Adele on the left. Now, I'm not sure if that's just how the tactic plays, or if that is him specifically, but we'll find out, I guess, as the next year or so goes on, especially if we don't change the tactic, you know. So, there we go. Let's get into the game anyway against Monaco. We could end up third in today's episode by the end of today, because Rennes have really caught back on us, but let's see how we get on. The assistant manager says, pick up where he left off. Okay. Travels with it, plays it into Da Costa, into Crespo, into Johansson, plays it into Boniface, goes through, is he going to score? Keeper saves. Free kick for Monaco towards the goal. It's going to be cleared away. Johansson's got it. Boniface holds it up pretty well. Oh, I thought he was going to look to play on the right-hand side there. A couple of options there. Monaco play out. They've got a good player in the box there. I thought he was going to get on the end of a little cross there. They don't do anything with the ball. We've got a risky switch. Johansson gets it. Goes through towards goal. Plays a left-footed ball into Adao. I'd say I've got to see this right. I'm pretty sure I've checked this already. Yeah, okay. Johansson is left-footed. Okay. I want to double-check that. Is he onside? The answer is no, I didn't think he was. A pretty uneventful game. Not too many highlights, to be fair. I still quite like some of the players they've got in Monaco. Got a good team. He's offside. Surely he's offside. Referee. Yeah, good. We'll say time to dig into the lads. Basically, because we've only got one right back now, whenever Osei Samuel comes out, I'm starting to play either Ndai or Matazo there at right back. In fact, I'm going to put Matazo in there now because he seems to do a good job. If there was a real issue at right back with Osei Samuel, normally would play Rikichi in there, but he's not. He's not available, is he, in this game? No, he's not. And Dylan Chevalier. I can't remember how to pronounce his name here at this point. Yeah, Chevalier. Yeah, he's going to be our backup left back, or potentially going forward. Because we've sold midfield players like Samuel, there's a chance that Merlin... Oh, it's to go on. Bayer gets another goal for the team. I was just saying that, yeah, because Merlin's going to play potentially as a pivot in a couple of games. I need another left back in the squad to supplement that numbers-wise. So he comes into the team as our top youngster prospect, I would say, at the moment. As Bayer scores yet another goal. He seems to score a lot of goals. Maybe he just scores a lot on camera, but... Yeah, that's only 7 for the season, but it feels like a lot more than that. Maybe sometimes he gets like there and he plays it across for a lot of goals, and I keep associating him with the goal. But it doesn't go down as his goal, if you see what I mean there. I'm going to take off Johansson and throw on Evander. In fact, I'm going to switch those two around then. And then we're going to take off... Oh, Boniface. No, let's take off Bayo actually and throw on Huskovic on the right. Let's do that as a change. As the highlight continues here for Monaco, they're going to get a chance out of it. We look pretty well. So the tactic... It feels like it's working well enough. It's really hard to judge, right? Because I feel like no matter what we do, we're going to be quite far off PSG this year anyway. There's going to be some years where, regardless of the tactic we've got, they're going to just get so many points, they make it 1-1. That's going to be hard to compete. So we're still not quite there yet as a team. But I think in the next 2 years, we're getting close to having a title challenging team. But I've been saying that for a couple of years. Maybe it's taking us a bit longer than I would expect. I mean, I'm keeping the club on financial footing, right? On even financial footing. I could risk the club slightly more, make some more leverage buys over longer periods of time. But I don't want to do that. For those of you that with my stream saves last year, we're able to do Moneyball, but also do a bit of that. We're able to take slightly more risks. But I don't want to do that this year if I can avoid it, because I want to do it as Moneyball-like as possible, you know, and work with the resources that we have. And it's going to finish 1-1 in the first game. That's not the end of the world. Away game to Monaco. In like future years, that'll be the kind of game where at 1-1 I go for it and we try to win those games. This year, I'm still happy for us to just make sure we get our top 4, get the second place really is what I'm looking at. Can we finish seconds? And like I just said, Osei Samuel, if he's injured and comes out, Rikichi will go in there to right back, who's been brilliant this season and a really good purchase. So we've also got, we've still got Vazquez, haven't we? I keep forgetting about trying to get him into the squad as a non-EU player. The only easy way out of this is that we either sell Adele, which I don't really want to do because it's so hard to get wingers, or we sell Andrew and get another goalkeeper in, but he's so solid. It's so tough. Okay, I'll see you in 7 days for the game against Marseille. Okay, here it is then. It's going to be Ray's debut for us. Our little Kylian Mbappe, potentially. We obviously don't know, of course. We hope he's going to be. And yeah, let's see how he gets on. He's going to play on the left-hand side. Not a role that's been really good for Adele, but we'll see how he gets on there. We're going to start him, get him straight in there in the mixer, because we do play Newcastle next in only 3 days' time. So it's nice to at least have Adele fully fresh for that game. We won't play Ray for that one in any case. But let's get into the game. The only change is Rikichi comes back in for Osei Samuel, and then obviously Ray plays instead of Adele. He can have number 19. Assistant manager says our home form is important to us. Okay. And we are underway. Instant highlight. Here we go. Please let it be an instant goal for him. Just give it to him on the left-hand side. Come on, here we go, boys. Here we go. Build it up. Give it to our little Mbappe. Here it comes. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. That was a bit calamitous, but we've got it back with Olcan. Bayer plays into Costa, into Crespo, into Olcan. We're going to patiently build the attack, which is what we do at this football club at the moment anyway. Gila is going to try and find someone in the middle. He's got in behind to Bayer on the right-hand side. Goes wide. He's going to cross it. Is he going to cut back? Johansson crosses it far post. Boniface heads it towards goal. It's 1-0 to Paris FC. And we get ourselves underway. See, that is why I do want that kind of profile of player. For those like little extra goals you get from them being good in the air. If that was like a 5'7", 5'8" quick striker that runs in behind, he wouldn't have scored that type of goal. Yes, he may have scored goals in other ways, but I like to have the striker in this system to be that sort of profile of striker that can at least do something in the air, at least be a slightly bit of a threat in the air. But the profile of striker that works is Mbappe, according to watching PSG, so we have to factor that in. Right, Ray's got it. Plays it across to the Costa. The Costa's going to shoot and goal surely from there. Does. Boniface is 2. We've had 66% possession. Marseille have had 0 shots. They've been absolutely battered here. And they are 5th in the league. Like, they won this. If they drew this, they'd go into the top 4. So this is a good sign of showing that we are really progressing as a club, that when we're on form and using this tactic, we are significantly better than the other top sides in France, except for PSG, of course, with that caveat thrown in there. As the ball goes into the box here, Kennedy Johansson's going to get a shot away, left-footed. What a goal. He is such a good player. I really like Johansson. I'm going to watch this again. What a finish this is. We'll watch this again. This finish is incredible. It's whipped in. It's headed away. Comes up to Johansson. I just had a feeling he'd get a good touch and I'd get a shot away here. What a player. Like a Yaya Toure type finish, but on the left foot. 3-0. Because we've got Newcastle next in the Champions League, let's take off the striker, put Huskovic on. Let's take Crespo off. Let's put on Ndai. Bayo can come off. I tell you what, let's put Ray on the right. Let's put Adele on the left. Let's go Evander. Let's bring all the changes here. And Chevalier in for Merlin. Why not? Highlight for Marseille. Their first highlight of the game. Evander wins it. He's going to break away, plays it to Adele. Adele's going to break through. He's going to look for somebody now. He might have to. Goes left hand side. Goes across to Evander. Goes, scores. It's 4-0. What a performance this is. Probably the best performance we've had all season, I would say. Which is good, because it's a good time to start playing this well as well. Throw in here. Chevalier, our youngster from the academy. Throws it into Evander. Plays it back to Chevalier, plays across to Ndai, into Evander, some good football being played here. Johansson gets a shot, it's blocked. We're going to recover the ball here. Where's it going to go for the second part of this highlight? Go and give it to around the right-hand side. Come to the right-hand side. Here we go. Right-hand side, Chevalier. No, it's the wrong way. Wrong way. Come on. I want to see the Wonder Kid get a goal on camera. Here we go. Come on. Give it to him. I mean, he could be really poor. I'm calling him Wonder Kid. We obviously don't know how good he is, and that's nowhere near. Corner whipped in. Keeper's going to collect it. Come on, right-hand side, counter-attack. Come on, Andrew, quickly. Release it. Release it. Here it goes. Into Ray here. Let's see him do something. Ray's got it. Dribbles at the players. Goes past one and gets a red card. Well, draws a red card. Doesn't get a red card, of course. And they have it. 4-0 win for Paris FC. The best performance of the season by a country mile. And a lot of excitement at the club now, right? We've got potentially our first player that we've signed who could be like a player that could be a wonder kid on the PSG sort of level, right, in terms of Ray. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be. I'm just saying he's got the potential to be. According to this, the coaches sort of rate him, maybe not too much, but they rate him good enough at least to be part of the first team, but they don't necessarily think he's going to be the one. But there we are. End of the episode, we finish second. We're going to be clearly not going to be able to win the league this year, which is a shame, but that's life at this situation for us. I think we're going to... Well, I mean, we've been on a good run, and we're still only just in the top 4, really. 5 points, that's really close. And we are a team that's prone to a bad run of results. One, because the squad is so small, in terms of like first-team players. And don't forget, there's probably 2 players in terms of Matozo and Chevalier aren't really ready. And there's 3, actually, Leonardi. So it's quite a small squad. But for 2, the style of football that we play is so possession-based, right? Like, we have to work harder for it to work within the game and the match engine, right? Because it's a really hard style of football to get right and to work. So we're prone to a bad run of form from that and from potentially the lack of players. So 5 points is really close. Nothing's guaranteed. And we've still got everything to play for going into the end of the season. Finances currently look like this. So 3.7 million in the bank. Our projection is to be only minus 1.93 million. That's really good because that's really going to be like a plus 20 or 30. But that's going to go up anyway because that's not going to factor in the 2 Champions League games we've got coming up, I don't think, as well. So that's good. That's really, really good for us. We're in a good financial position. The budgets look I can get out of the way so you can see this. 5.3, 5.51, and 9.09. Come on, board. What are we doing here? But that is going to do the episode. In terms of the next episode, we are going to come back for... It's potentially going to be just these 3 games because it just fits. Alternatively, it will be that I play these 3 off camera and it'll be the next Champions League knockout game if we get there and probably PSG. And if we don't, it could be just the French semi-final and PSG. It'll be something in PSG likely to be in the next one. But then that's going to be the end of the season after that as well. So, do you know what? I'm not too sure what's going to happen next. It's likely to be these 3 because it's a really good time to come back and we get to see more of our little youngster and see how many trophies we're going to be able to play for. But that is going to do it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.